Alrighty, we got all of our debris cleaned up along the bank. I'm down here in the draw now with the two biggest cedars. Ouch. Ooh. Oh, speaking of cedar, that's weird. Anyway, just had to rip the nose hairs out. So you can see I got Rosie parked right up here, the bucket as close as I can get it. And what I'm gonna have to do with these two big monsters, this one and this one, is well, I can't get Rosie to them to control them, so I'm just gonna have to let them fall the way they look like they want to go. This one looks like it wants to go to the left and fall out towards the road, which will be fine. It's not going to touch the power lines or anything. And this one looks like it wants to fall away right down the draw, which is totally fine. I've got plenty of straps and ropes and cables and everything to reach them and drag them out of here. I just would much rather, you know, be able to get Rosie on where I can push them and control them. But it is what it is, because these are behemoth cedar trees. And so yeah, we're gonna get them out of here. But I'm not sure. I gotta clean away a little brush here. I'll try to get my camera set up for you guys to watch, but I can't promise. Huh. Now it fell pretty much exactly sideways to the direction that I needed to go. But it's down. It's down. So now to figure out how to get it out of here. What a monster. All right, we're back at the start of day 3. I say start, it's only taken me 3 hours to actually get here this morning. But we're pretty much done. You can see where I've come around the back over there. Plucked out a few more big cedars that I bought, but otherwise just underbrushed it enough that he can, you know, walk back in there easy and kind of decide what he wants to do. But you can see the pink ribbon. So that right over there, that's his property corner over there. And then the line runs kind of at a diagonal, running this way, back out to the road. But yeah, nice big pile of cedar building up here. These are all the bigger ones that I bought out of the back. And again, the ones that were dead standing or that were low quality, I got those for free, so I didn't have to buy those. So like this one here, it's got a fork real low. You know, it's got maybe an 8-foot log, but you know, he acknowledged that there's basically not a whole lot of log in that one, so those are free, which is really nice. And then the whole rest of the big pile over here of, you know, the hickory and the big white oak, which I think, was that the white oak that was, I think that's the one I cut the burl off of. But maybe I was thinking it still had some mass up top that was clean. We'll see. When I pull it back out of there, it might go back on the burn pile. I kind of forgot about that. But the hickory, of course, is the interesting thing. And more big cedars in behind it. And then, of course, our two big mamas down here in the bottom, which have been the challenge. Started trying to pull those up out of the bottom yesterday after I cut them down. And started snapping every nylon strap that I own. So, the client is supposed to be out here. I thought he was going to be out here already. He's supposed to be out here to meet me today. He's bringing as many chains as he can find, and I've got all the chains I can find. And we're going to try to just drag them right up this little slope here, which, of course, they're going to try to catch on all this underbrush. But if they rip out some of that little stuff, that'd be all right. But, yeah, that big mama laid across there, and the even bigger one laying down in the valley. We started trying to pull on this one to pull it straight up and out. You can see there's still a strap dangling on it that's broke. This one here is going to be a bit more interesting, because I'd like to pull from the butt end, and I guess if I do, I may have to cut the log out of it first, because there's no way that top is going to spin. So I may have to cut a 20-foot log first, let it spin around these hackberries here, and then come up the tree and cut another log there and pull it out at a different angle. That'd probably be what I have to do. But I want to try to get all the top and as much of the tops and everything up and out as I can for him, just so his woods are a little cleaner, which they're actually pretty clean anyway. In my opinion, you know, you can walk through them, you get a little bit of stuff poking at you, but Definitely not like some of the other stuff I've walked around here. Anyway, our fire is pretty well burned everything down. There's some stumps and some greenery that needs to be pushed up into it. So I'm gonna get that pushed up first thing. Oh, one other log that I pulled out. I thought it was a rotten cedar, but when I pulled it out, it was solid. I think it's an oak. You know, when it was laying there on the ground, I thought, man, this thing's gonna crumble like all the other, several other cedars that were already down. When I went to pick them up, they just fell apart. And that's what it looked like. But it's got a solid trunk on it, so I think it must be an oak of some sort. I can't tell though, there's no bark, no leaf, no nothing. Anyway, I'm gonna get this pushed up and get it burning again. And then I'm gonna start loading logs out for what it's worth, get as much as I can on my trailer. I couldn't get the gooseneck that I wanted this morning. Oh well, it is what it is. So let's get this pushed up and burning, and then we'll load some logs. Well, that's a start. That's the first load. That was everything that was piled up back in the back corner that I think I just showed you this morning, piled up back behind the burn pile. So all this whole main pile up front is all still there, and the two big beauties are still down in the gully. I don't know where the client's at. He never showed up, but I thought he was going to beat me here and leave me chains in check or be here when I got back. He's still not here. So anyway, it is what it is. This is all loaded up, and I guess we're completely full because that little turd, first it fell off this side, and then I backed up and picked it up, and then it fell off the other side. So I said, that's it, we're full. I'm not messing with it. Quite the little challenge to load these logs. You can see I'm parked on the opposite side of the road from where I'm going in because I have to reach out across the road because of the power lines. So if I had parked over there on that side, when I boomed up and picked up to drop the logs, I would have hit the power lines. So actually parking over here across the road actually worked pretty well. I was able to walk right out. I had to curl my bucket down to get under the power lines, and then I'd stand it up and reach out and drop them on. Anyway, we're gonna take them home, and honestly, it'll probably spend all afternoon just dragging these things back off the trailer. So I'm not sure if I'll come back today or not. I guess it kind of depends if I get a hold of the client, what he's saying he's doing. But if not today, I'll be back tomorrow. All right, well, we are working on dragging the big boys, the big gals, whatever you want to call them, up out of the bottom here. I'm just going to show you the hook, the setup here. So the client brought me some chains yesterday, and luckily so far they looked kind of small, but everything's holding so far today. This chain looks tight, but it's not pulled super tight, so it's okay. So far I've only had one break, and it was actually on my chain. I broke the eye, just snapped. And that was actually on my heaviest looking chain that I had. That's a 3/8. The other ones, I think these are 5/16. So it's actually the biggest chain out here is the one that, or the biggest eye. That's a 3/8 chain too, I believe. It doesn't have any ends on it though. It hooks on either end. So I've had to get creative with how I hook stuff together. This brass chain doesn't have a hook on the end. That's why I ended up tied it in a knot with that one. And I would say both of mine have hooks, but they don't anymore. Anyway, so this is the first big beauty coming up, and I want to start on this one because it was the one that was further away that I figured would be harder to get. Now the reason harder to get just because it was bigger and further away. That one over there, of course, is laying sideways to the direction that I need to pull it, but it's a lot closer. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it off as a log, and I'll hook onto this end down here and just let it spin around. This one, if I cut the log off first, I wouldn't have been able to reach the rest of the top, and I want to try to get the top up out of the bottom just so his place is a little bit cleaner. Yes, as it comes up, it's going to rip up some of these little saplings, but I think most of them will weather it. At least the bigger ones like this one here, they'll weather it. The little smaller ones might get knocked over, and if they do, they do. If they don't, then great. Anyway, now that I've got it pulled up here a little closer, I've got at least 30, maybe 40 feet closer than it was. So I'm going to go ahead and buck off the first 20.5 foot log and slip it up out of here. That'll take literally like a ton off the tree, and then I'll rehook down low and pull again. All right, so we've got our first big one out of the bottom, and I was just going to show you what all we got here. This first little log here, this was basically the top. This was the last piece that I cut off. So it's not the full length. Oh, doggone it. I'm not even going to be able to hook my tape. Maybe I can hook on this end. There's too many little limbs on that end. I haven't measured it yet. That's the only reason I'm looking to see here. Ouch. Got to watch out for where I hit it with the chainsaw. That's a sharp spot. So this is just the top, and it's still 12 feet long. That one little branch I forgot to cut off. It's going to be a bugger. So that's the top, 12 feet long. The other two logs are both a full 20.5 feet long. So that's 41 feet plus 12, 53 feet. The narrow end on the top here, if you guys can see that, is 7 inches. 7 inches on the narrow end, the narrowest end. Oh, it's 10 inches. 10 inches on the big end of the top. And on the butt, the big butt of the tree. This one's got a lot of split in it. I don't know how high up that split's gonna go, but you can see when we get into this is the butt of the second log. There's no split at all. So, and this didn't really happen when I cut the tree down. This was already there, which is good because that, you know, that basically says this tree is over mature, really. So let's try to go like, it's kind of a 3-point star here. Average minimum axis is about 16 inches. But if I go across down here where I could possibly get some slabs out, you're talking 24, 28. So that's perfect because I don't like cutting stuff bigger than about 28 inches anyway. It's just a hassle to handle. So yeah, 53 feet out of just one tree. I think this one tree is going to be a load on the trailer. So I'm going to go set it on and see how I feel about it. And then go ahead and get the second one drug up out of the bottom at least. And then I'll probably run home and get this one unloaded, hopefully. We'll see if Rita can pull it off or not. Oh well, we just got the first big one drug off here at the house, and I guess I'll try to set this camera up and let y'all get some footage of how I'm doing this. But I'm dragging them straight back off the trailer and then just piling them up, pushing them up here with a box blade and piling them up. I can't actually pick, I don't think I can pick these up, not as 20.5 feet, because that last big one that's there on top, I had to really I'm doing it with the forks. If I put a chain around it and lift it, you know, by curling the bucket back, no problem. But I just got the forks on right now, so I managed to get it up on top, but I know these bigger ones I won't. Anyway, I just got the the 4 big ones and 1 little one on the trailer. So let's just see what we can do to drag them off of here and yeah, get the trailer empty. We'll do it again tomorrow and get more. All right, one more big one left to do, and one more little one. That's it for the monsters. big monsters. I've still got more cedar over there on job to bring home, but at least I got the biggest, baddest ones home. So yeah, I gotta get this one off here. Shouldn't be any issue. I'm gonna cut the video off and I'm gonna turn it on.